Peace and love. It's the chosen one. It's the guided one. It's the guided one. It's the chosen one. It's the man with the pitcher of water. I made a video this morning, but of course, the principalities at work, they don't want me to put out the truth. And the video was really about like the predictions that I had for the rest of 2021. I'm gonna get hot and heavy into it because I'm not gonna beat around the bush. I'm gonna just get it out there because I don't want to waste any more time. I don't feel like just going over it. All that mundane speak that I used to do, saying the same stuff over and over. You haven't caught on, you just haven't caught on. Disclaimer. Any content that I produce through social media or any other technological platform is for entertainment purposes only. If I quote or copy or cite anything that's copyrighted, fair use, fair use, fair use. All right, now that I've said that, my first prediction, we're jumping right into it, right? My first prediction about the rest of 2021, there will be something's going to go down by the end of this year. In terms of everything that's happening on the East Coast and the rest of the world, the rest of the U.S., or at least the key parts of the U.S. and some of the populated areas, mainly the West Coast, is going to see a big change, especially during the winter time, the winter season. That's prediction number one. Prediction number two, COVID restrictions are going to increase. And I made this video this morning, and it's funny, I just read an article just now about how Biden is going to start implementing new tactics through his administration to get more people vaccinated, to curb the so-called virus. And they're going on all fronts, attacking corporations, schools, and healthcare facilities, and even through the government, even through what did I read? It was something about schools that are funded by the DoD, Department of Defense. I'm like, wait a minute. Doesn't that mean, hold up, aren't our schools the DoD? The schools? Hold up, why is there even a correlation? But see, motherfuckers don't think that way. Oh, nah. You know what I'm saying? Third prediction, right, was there will be an earthquake by the end of 2021 or the beginning of 2022. There'll be an earthquake on the West Coast. There was already one, 6.5, up near the border of Canada and Washington. And it was on the Cascadian subduction zone. And for me, right, I'm going to go off on a little tangent. For me, it's a little annoying because I don't know if y'all saw my post from last night. There's I'm not going to say names, Muslim, who was challenging me on some of the spiritual beliefs that I hold and how religion and everything and how it pertains to me and my particular experience here in this earth, in this realm, right? And how all these other things play out, right? And one of the things that I had predicted and had a vision of and a dream of, right, was Cascadia, flooding. And I have a video that's entitled, it was made over 6 months ago, it's entitled As in the Days of Noah. That's what it's titled. And it's about that, right? And so, when I told the people that this was going to happen, literally there was a post about a 6.5 earthquake happening near the Cascadia subduction zone, right? And I talked about Cascadia in my video. The video is titled As in the Days of Noah. You can check it out on my YouTube. the man with the pitcher of water. The chosen one, the guy, the one man with the pitcher of water. And it's just funny how when I was talking to this guy, this brother, right? It was funny how, first off, it was ill-intended. Meaning, I already knew why he was inquiring with me, because I had sent the video. Because when I send videos and stuff on social media, I usually send it to like certain people. I just put send. I send it to random people. And what he responded was, "Hey, don't send me any more videos." And now it's not possible for anybody to know who this person is, and I'm not going to disclose that. But after that, he continued to comment on the video. And so he was asking me questions. And so there was a conversation being had, and literally, I just didn't like the way the conversation was going, because he tried to get me out of my frame, and he had ill intention, because towards the end of the conversation, he just ended up calling me a mentally insane person, that I was crazy, I need to go get checked. It's like, why are you telling me in the beginning of the conversation that you genuinely want to know the position that I'm coming from? I tell you it. I provide you the videos for you to watch that are very, very detailed, citing the things that I believe with evidences from their sources, right? So I came to you with that stuff, yet you, when I asked you for it, you came with nothing but conjecture and what you think is right, right? But then think that you calling me crazy, blocking me. This actually happened. He was calling me crazy, blocking me. He said I had schizophrenia. I've never disclosed to anybody I don't have schizophrenia, right? He's like, yeah, you told me that. I'm like, no, I didn't tell you that. I never told you that, right? And he just went down this whole thing. He was just calling me a liar, and I'm just like, I haven't lied about anything. Like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't feel the need to justify myself. This is just where the conversation was going, right? And I just had to like correct him, pretty much. That's what it was, a correction. I never try to justify myself, especially to other men. That's the most beta thing you can do, is to justify your actions to another man. And it just went south, because that's where he was directing it. That's where he wanted it to go. He wanted to compromise me to a point where he thought he could get over on me in terms of the responses that I was giving. And there was a lot of like assumptions based on the things that I was saying, especially if somebody ever leads a conversation with, so what you're saying is, that means they're putting words in your mouth. When you say something and someone goes, so what you're saying is, they're using their own interpretation of what you're saying rather than what you actually said, and interpreting that within. It's like a reverse thing they're doing. It's so diabolical. Women who are controversial, they do that, and men who are very feminized, they do that. They don't know how to actually have intellectual discourse. It's pretty crazy. But I wanted to put that out there to show you guys an example, or tell you guys of an example of how what you're going to be facing now that your consciousness is slowly separating from other people's consciousness, the people that want to remain third dimensional and not raise their consciousness and raise them out of here. And this is to my Muslims out there, and to anybody who is Muslim. Allah always has said, seek guidance, right? Always seek guidance. That's one of the main things that a Muslim is obliged to do, is to seek guidance, right? And if you are Muslim and you stop and you say, you know what, there is already a fixed way of doing things, I'm going to continue to do it this way, and that is the ultimate salvation. But then at the same time, you tell yourself, I don't need to know anything else. There's just this, or there's just this. You have failed yourself, because you are supposed to constantly seek guidance. The Quran is a multi-layered piece of revelation that Allah has sent down to mankind. Remember, it says it's a guidance for mankind. not some surface level book where you're just supposed to sit down. And this is for the Muslim, and this is for all religion, obviously. All religions are the same in the sense that if you have the right perception, you can perceive how they are the same. That's what makes sense. But if you carry this mindset of, oh, I'm done in my journey of searching, or I feel as if somebody else has done all the research for me, and I'm just going to follow their ideology, their curriculum, you have failed yourself. You will never find your way out of here. You will be destined for hellfire, and in this case, hellfire is coming back here. There's nothing beyond this but the abyss, the truest hell, which is nothingness. Because you would have subjected yourself to not taking your consciousness anywhere, unless you upload it, of course, with the AI, which is what's coming next. Also, I just want to warn like Muslims, like there is deeper knowledge behind like certain things. Like, for example, when the Prophet ﷺ, he took his trip from one masjid to the next and then to the heavens, and this was one night. How did this man, right? If historically he didn't have any technology or airplane or a car, how did he get from that masjid to the next masjid and ascend to heaven? Since everybody has these answers, right? How do you explain that? Unless it was astral projection, if you have the metaphysics behind how that takes place. Because if you've never astral projected before, you wouldn't know. How do you do all that in one night? One masjid to the next, raise up to heaven, come back down, go back to the other masjid where he was. If historically all they had were camels and cattle and horses and stuff like that, I'm talking about a man who was basically brought up in the desert. How did he do that? You tell me. Now, here's the problem with Muslims. They'll tell a person like me that I'm crazy for thinking that it was astral projection and that he spiritually traveled, but still have no explanation of how it might have happened physically. I'm sitting here coming with the metaphysics, a true science. You know what I'm saying? These dummies will read in the Quran that you're to study Allah's creation to know Allah. You'll never know Allah straight up, just going to Allah knowing it. You study His creation. Look at His creation. That's what Allah says. You want to know me? Look at my creation. You look at the creation. Look at the signs. What has Allah always said about signs? What has He said about ayat? What does He say? Surah Najm. What's the other one? Buruj. I got my Quran right here. Hold on. I'm driving. Hold on. Let me whip it out for the layman's. Give me a second, y'all. Right? Because y'all seem to think that motherfuckers is crazy, and the dude that I was talking to, the Muslim guy, Muslim brother, may Allah reward him for his good intentions and whatever's good that's in his heart, because I don't ever wish ill will on anybody. But if somebody's coming at me sideways, hey, I'm gonna correct your ass straight up. I'm gonna put you in your place, man, because I come with the receipts. I don't talk out of my ass, right? Now, Al-Isra, what does that mean? Well, they have a translation of it, the night journey. It says, this is a translation from the English. Glory be to him who carried his servant by night from the holy mosque at Mecca to the distant mosque at Jerusalem. And by night, by one night. How do you go from Mecca to Jerusalem? Huh? You tell me. You tell me. Mecca is in Saudi Arabia. Jerusalem is where? Palestine. How did he do that in one night? I'm reading from the Quran. Call me crazy, but it's from the source. Explain it. Oh, but you won't. You rather just be like, oh, you're crazy, you're committing shirk. I don't believe what you say. You might have the science behind how astral projection works, but I mean, you're crazy, you're a conspiracy theorist. I don't have an explanation. You do, but you're the crazy one. Does that make logical sense, people? You tell me. Does that make logical sense? Sorry, I was waving at some friends. We're going to continue this, people. Ain't no burgers, but it's a busy Thursday. Give me a second, people. You know what? Let me just go somewhere and pull up. I can finish this video. You know, y'all got to make sense of this, though. You know what I'm saying? Because if I'm the conspiracy theorist, right? If I'm the liar, if I'm the one committing shirk, you need to show me. That's why this whole burden of proof theory is the dumbest shit. Like, the way people explain it is the dumbest fucking thing I have ever heard. How the hell is the burden of proof on the person who makes the first claim? The burden of proof, listen to the phrase, burden of proof. Obviously, there couldn't be a burden of proof unless there is an opposing side. The opposing side is the one who needs the proof. But if I'm by myself, let's say I'm by myself, I'm in a park and there's nobody around, and I go, I'm making the claim that the sky is green. If there's no one around to challenge me, it doesn't necessarily mean the sky is green. But if there's no one around to challenge me, there is no burden of proof that I need to show. Until someone comes along and says, hey, you're false. Here's why the sky is not green. The proof needs to be shown based on what you say. Because they're already going to have their beliefs on why it's green. The sky is green. Because I'm looking at it, and that's why it's green. You see it? It's showing itself as green. That's why. I think because the trees are evaporating, and I don't think this is just an example, right? I think the trees are evaporating their leaves, and the color is going up to the sky, and that's why they're green, right? Some weird stuff, right? Whatever they say, right? Let's say that was the explanation. You would have to come in, and the burden of proof would have to be on you, obviously, because you don't believe the sky is green. And you would have to weigh your evidence against theirs in order to disprove them. The burden of proof is on the person who does not agree. Get that through your head. That's logical. Get that through your head. So if you disagree with me, you need to come up with the facts and evidence of how I'm wrong. And I will always humble myself and tell you, if I'm wrong, guess what? I want to be on the right path. If you are good intentions, if you have good intentions, you have a good heart, and you just disagree with what I'm saying, come and provide the facts. But where are you? Where are you? I'm inviting you. I need to make a whole video. I need to make a whole day, make a flyer, make an event where I literally just come and have people and invite people to have dialogue about philosophical issues, religion, and spirituality. Because time and time again, I invite people to come on and bring the facts instead of just hoopla and conjecture and writing a paragraph of what they think and what they believe or what they heard. Claim that you're wrong because I say so, and I'm going to delete you, block you, shame you, make fun of you, insult you. I don't have the facts. I don't have anything to say against it. I don't even actually have any evidence, but you're wrong, and I'm going to treat you differently because you're wrong based on my belief that's not substantiated by anything. Like, this is the way people think. It's wild. It's wild to me. And I'm not the type of person that'll sit by and let that happen, let that take place. You're gonna come correct because you would have to come correct in order to disprove me. Now, I'm not. A lot of people will see this as, oh, he's haughty. He thinks he's right. I'm not saying that. If I thought it was right, I wouldn't invite you to prove me wrong. I'm inviting you to prove me wrong so that we create a foundation for truth, a foundation for knowledge, regardless of who's right or wrong. We created a platform where we can find out instead of just being like, oh, I have my opinion, you have your opinion, you have your truth, I have my truth, let's move the fuck on. I disagree with you, and I'm going to hate you for it, blah, 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 like people do today. I'm not about that. You disagree with me or I disagree with you, we gonna talk about something. The best way to become knowledgeable is always to know the other side's argument and to know it intensely. That's why I study shaitan. I don't worship. I don't follow. I study shaitan. That's how I know how to avoid him. How else you gonna avoid your enemy if you don't understand him? Art of war, right? How are you gonna avoid your enemy if you don't even know what he looks like, what his tactics are, or if he's wearing the same color as you? You know what I'm saying? How you gonna know? Give me a second. I'm gonna take my shirt off right quick. And since I turned to the page of Isra, we're gonna go through that. We're gonna go through that, right? People can go all day, oh, you're never going to understand it because it's written in Arabic and you don't understand Arabic and there are words and there are meanings to words, okay? If that's the case, this copy of the Quran would not have been sold. It would not have been. Sorry, I had to take that off. It's got something on there. I don't like posting videos with logos and stuff because I'm not about that, name brands and giving away people's, copyright. Right? Let's just read. Let's just read. So, from the holy mosque to the distant mosque at Jerusalem. Right? Because there's two mosques there. A lot of people don't know that. That's why, you guys see Jerusalem. One of the holiest sites there is the mosque that's there. And y'all may think, oh, that's the temple, or that's where the Israelites are, the Jews are. No, that gold dome is a mosque. A lot of people don't know that. Listen, the precincts of which. Now, the only reason I'm diving into this is because I know a lot of what I talk about can contradict religion and Islam because of the spirituality that I talk about. But you have to understand the religion before you can actually study the metaphysics behind the religion and how the religion is being usurped. I didn't say the Quran. I said the religion and how people practice it. Because you can have the religion, it may be true in itself, but if the people are coming at it with different perceptions to approach what they're learning, they're going to be off, regardless of what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's like having a chocolate chip cookie, but if somebody coming along with different taste buds, they all gonna say it's a different thing. Oh, it tastes like strawberries. Oh, this tastes like chocolate. Oh, this tastes like milk chocolate. Or this tastes like dark chocolate. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how it is. At the end of the day, it's still a cookie in and of itself. It's still a chocolate chip cookie, but it's because of these people and their personal the parameters in which they come at the cookie, you know what I'm saying, as far as their taste buds, That's what makes confusion. That's what makes religion such a bad and false thing. It's the people, not the religion itself. You have to come at the religion with the right focus, with the right mind, with the right perception. And people can't conceive that. People can't think of that, and that's what bothers me, and that's why I have to clarify, right? So a lot of people are like, oh, you're spiritual, then why are you studying religion? It's because you haven't grasped you haven't distinguished between religion and how it's anthropomorphized so that you can understand spirituality. Because spirituality is what's going to save you, not religion. The right perception that this is supposed to give you as a guidance for mankind, that's what's supposed to happen. That's what's supposed to happen. You're supposed to gain the right perspective. It's supposed to guide you to the right perspective. Okay? So what we're going to do is I'm going to read some passages from that chapter. We're going to go through it. And I'm going to show you the religious side, and I'm going to show you the spiritual side. And you tell me what makes more sense. So, right, it says, "Glory be to him who carried his servant by night from the holy mosque at Mecca to the distant mosque at Jerusalem." Now, Mecca, Saudi Arabia, Jerusalem, Palestine. One night. You tell me how he did that. You tell me. What makes more sense? Did he walk? Did he ride a camel? One of the fastest camels in the world? Did he have a dirt bike? Did he drive a car? Or did he travel by light? Or his soul? Astral projection? If you don't know what that is, go look it up. Instead of sitting here telling me I'm wrong, you don't even know what the word I'm using. The precincts of which we have blessed, that we might show him some of our signs. In fact, he alone is all-hearing, the all-seeing. So it's talking about Allah sending his servant from one mosque to another into the heavens. And similarly, we gave Moses the scripture and made it a guidance for the children of Israel, another guidance. And they went off that path, saying, "Take no one as a disposer of affairs apart from me." It's God speaking. So he's comparing, right? Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to Moses when he received the scriptures. Now, how did Moses receive the scripture? Did God come down and write it for him? Or did God send down the scriptures to his mind through metaphysical means, enlighten him so that he could write it down for the children of Israel? Now, Moses, listen to this. Moses could not be a Jew. He was Egyptian. His people, him and his people, were enslaved in their own land. He was raised Egyptian under Pharaoh. He was raised Egyptian. You're telling me an Egyptian man led these people, and these people became a bunch of white curly-haired dudes bowing at a wall? That don't match up with history. Come on now. Come on now. Come on now. These people were the same people killed by Hitler to be displaced so they could sign the Balfour Declaration? Come on now. Oh, but no. Conspiracy theorists, right? O you, the progeny of those whom we bore in the ark, with Noah, to protect them from the deluge. He was indeed a grateful servant of ours. The progeny, O you, the progeny of those who we bore in the ark with Noah, the children of Noah. Talking to those people. And in the scripture, we have conveyed to the children of Israel with certainty, saying, twice you shall create disorder in the land, and shall surely become exceedingly overbearing and arrogant. So when this Quran says in 588 BC, the time for the first of the two warnings came, we roused against you, O children of Israel. Some of our servants possessed a great valor and might in warfare, and they penetrated into the innermost recesses of your country and habitations. Indeed, it was a warning about the punishment of Allah, bound to be carried out. Then we gave you back the power to prevail over these enemies of yours through Cyrus and Zerubbabel. And we helped you with various possessions and sons, and we increased your manpower militarily. We said, if you did good, you did it for your own selves, and if you did evil, it was to the same end. So now listen to that. So, if you do good, children of Israel, it was for you. If you did bad, it was for you. That's why you send yourself to hell, and you earn heaven. You either earn heaven, you earn hell. God doesn't just send people. Well, if God knows no, use your brain, man. You have a free will. So when the time for carrying out the latter warning came, we raised certain other people, Romans under Titus in 70 AD, against you to destroy your glory, so that they might do evil to you and your leading men, and invade and enter the mosque at Jerusalem. In the same way as others of your enemies had invaded and entered it the first time, and so that they might destroy utterly all that they have conquered. Right? So basically telling the children of Israel, summarizing, right, that because of your arrogance and how haughty you became, we decided to send people to destroy your mosques and your temples and rule over you. Still it is well nigh that your Lord will again have mercy on you through Islam. But if you return to mischief, we warn, we too will return to our punishment. We have made Gehenna a prison house for the ungrateful. This Quran assuredly guides to that which is most upright, and gives to the believers who do righteous deeds the glad tidings that there awaits them a great reward. It guides. Not that it is truth, it guides to the truth. Because remember, what was said about the Quran, this holy book, that it was a light given to mankind, but from a mother book. And no, this isn't some This right here, this is just material. This is just paper. The words are what matter. The words are what matter. That's why when people burn this, they don't know they're actually doing a good deed to the Quran. They're actually doing a Muslim thing. When people burn Qurans, of course they have ill intentions, but they're actually, the action of it is actually a good thing, because the only way to dispose of God's word is not to throw it in the trash, astaghfirullah, not to put it somewhere unholy, unworthy, right? But to burn it, as if to cremate it. Came down as a light, you should probably put it in the light. If you're going to properly put it somewhere, or if you feel as if it's not going to be protected. And also warns that we have grievous punishment in store for those who do not believe in the hereafter. That's all you motherfuckers. Y'all sitting here preaching, oh, we believe in the hereafter. It's one of the tenets of your faith, by the way, Muslims, to believe in the hereafter. But if somebody's coming along and telling you, hey, this is some of the things within the parameters of how we discern what the hereafter is. You're being told, believe in the unseen. But then you tell people, don't focus on the unseen. Believe in the unseen, just don't study it, don't look at it, don't just believe in it because we said so. Believe in the unseen, but don't believe in somebody who comes along and tells you the aspects of what's part of the unseen. Believe in the unseen. Stars, their functions, the constellations, how they work and function, how they're seen as signs. What is a sign? A sign is to make you aware of something. Like if I'm driving down the street, I see a stop sign, that's making me aware that, hey, there's a cross section coming in the street. There's what you call it? I can't even think right now. Dang, wow, I can't even think to save my life. Start from Bismillah. When there's an intersection coming, there you go, that's the word. When there's an intersection coming, that's what a stop sign is for. It's to make you aware that, hey, you need to stop because there's an intersection or a hazard ahead. A sign is to make you aware. The unseen. Somebody comes along and says, hey, the stars, the skies, celestial bodies, constellations, these are all signs from Allah to tell us about something. You're committing shirk. No. Really, bro? I'm committing shirk? But you're told to believe in the unseen, and what's taking place, you're told that things are supposed to be taken as a sign, yet you don't take it as a sign. Then you go, oh, well, you can't really understand it if you don't know the Arabic. Does that matter? Even if you knew the Arabic, guess what? Children grow up all the time practicing the Quran. There are Muslim children that grow up literally knowing the Quran word for word. But if they don't understand, what is the purpose? What is the purpose? Think about that. What is the purpose? And Allah talks about people. There'll be people like that on the Day of Judgment. Well, they'll be the hypocrites, where they'll have everything to say, but they'll not have true knowledge. It won't be in their hearts. It'll be on there. It'll be a front. They'll be putting up a front. They're Muslims on the outside, but on the inside, their hearts are gone from the truth. They're just a Muslim by name. You're told to believe in the unseen, but when somebody comes along talking about the unseen, you call them a kafir. You've got chapters in the Quran that talk about the constellations, the stars, the moon, the sun, and then you tell people that study the aspects of those things. You tell them, oh, well, that's shirk. Obviously, it's shirk to worship these things as if it's your means to seek higher knowledge, to seek Allah, right? No, that's not the way you do it. The way you do it is Allah created all of creation. If you study the creation, that does not make you a kafir. That's what he wants you to do, because he said it is a sign. And if you tell me that I'm not supposed to study the sign, who's the real one committing shirk? Astaghfirullah. What God are you worshiping? If the God who sent us the Holy Quran, if Allah sent us the Holy Quran and told us these things, what makes you think that you can usurp that? Think about that. I don't understand what people you know what I'm saying? Like who put it in your head that you have to be Sunni, you have to be Shia, you have to be freaking Ahmadiyya, you have to be you know what I'm saying? Like, who put it in your head that that's what that is? Why can't you just be a Muslim? What's wrong with that? Why do you have to follow fatwas that were literally created for selfish gain, political gain, based on the civilizations that were of those times? Why can't you just be a Muslim? Why can't there be a consensus? Not the one today. Not the ulama. How are you going to use your discernment to know whether or not you are following true Islam? Because if you're following Islam, then you know it's not the connotation that comes with the word Islam. That you got to be Arab, have a long beard and a turban and a long gown, look a certain way, speak a certain way. People put a connotation, people put a bias towards the word, not realizing this. Listen to this. What was Noah's religion? What was his ethnicity? What was his language? But you swear he's a Muslim. How is he a Muslim if the word is Muslim, which is Arabic, didn't even exist in his time? How is he Muslim? Well, you got to think of the meaning of the word, the meaning. But people can't discern from that. They'll take meanings from other things, and then they only take connotation from other things. And that's where you are. Your mind is split. Thinking you know something, thinking you have knowledge when you choose not to be guided, because that's what the Quran says. It's here for to guide you to the truth. I will read that part again. Chapter 17, verse 9. This Quran assuredly guides to that which is most upright, and gives to the believers who do righteous deeds the glad tidings that there awaits them a great reward, and also warns that we have a we have a grievous punishment in store for those who do not believe in the hereafter. A lot of you Muslims don't believe in the hereafter because, like I said, niggas come along explaining things about the hereafter, and you tell them they're committing shirk, they're kafirs, they're disbelievers. Because there's no way around that. How else? I mean, because think about it this way. If you're telling people to believe in the hereafter, believe in the unseen, but blindly, without knowing any aspect of what that is or what it means, then you've just been like the Christians, where they tell you, believe, have faith, but you don't need to test it. You don't need to, dry. I've been talking. I got the AC on. Believe in the unseen and the hereafter, but you don't need to have an explanation for what it is. You don't need to be guided to the knowledge of what it is. Can you truly tell another Muslim that? Especially if you're a leader or you're a scholar. Can you truly tell another Muslim that? Of course there's tenets to get to that, and you can use practicality to get to that, but you have to make sure people are getting to that. And the common theme I see in the Muslim world is nobody is teaching somebody how to get there. They're just practical. You don't need nothing else. Just recite. Did he say recite without knowing? You show me where it says that. Get out of here, man. Y'all don't make no sense. And if you want, we can do this with other religions. And I'll show you how to get down there. Because Allah even says that He sent prophets to other nations. So how else would those other nations get the revelation across? What language did they use? What parameters were within those religions? What ethnicity were these people? Where was their roots? Because the claim is, guys, that there were over 124,000 prophets that Allah has sent to the nations of the world. These people did not speak the same language. They weren't Christian, they weren't Jewish, they weren't Muslim. They were other names. They had other revelations. So you're going to say they were all wrong because it wasn't Arabic, it wasn't this, it was... Come on, man. Use your brain. That's why I gotta ask people, what was Abraham's religion? What language did he speak? How did he receive revelation? How did he reveal it to his people? How long did it take? What language were they speaking? Were those people speaking? It had to be something more ancient than Hebrew, more ancient than Aramaic and Arabic. Definitely more ancient than English, because English is the most bastardized language there is. That's why there's no such thing as curse words in the English language. It might be a little vulgar as far as what they mean in describing, because that's what words are. They're filters to describe stuff. But there's no such thing as a curse word in the English language, because you can't use curse words in a cursed language. Bastardize, meaning with as far as its enunciation and where it comes from, it's the most degraded form of communication. That's what I mean when I say bastardized. That it's without its root, because that's what a bastard is, right? Somebody who doesn't have a father, without their root. As it is many a time, a human being prays and calls for evil to himself, as he ought to pray and call for good. Human being is ever extremely hasty. Excuse me. And we have made the night and the day, such as they became, two signs, in a way that we obliterated the sign of the night, darkness, of ignorance and disbelief, and we displayed the sign of the day as sight, giving that you may seek the bounty of your Lord, and that you may learn from the alternation of night and day the computation of years and the science of the sorts of counting and measuring. Oh, but the stars and the sun, because the sun is a star, right? And that's the light of the day. That's how you distinguish light from day. The sun comes out, at night it gets dark. Should I read that again? It's very simple. But no, you say it's shirk. It's coming directly from source. It's coming directly from source. And I know you Muslims out there, oh, what kind of Quran is it? Who translated? Explained by Nuruddin. If you could see that. Explained by Nuruddin. If you want some publication, guys, give me a second, because you tell me whether this is legit. As explained by Alamah Nuruddin. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. Rendered into English by Amatul Rahman Omar and Abdul Manan Omar. Here are the names if you go ahead, look those up for me and you tell me whether or not they're valid. I'm going to read that again multiple times because you guys are really, really annoying me when I'm speaking from good intent. Allahu alam about all this knowledge, right? I'm speaking from good intent, and I'm talking to the Muslims. I'm letting you know where I'm coming from. I'm bringing the receipts. I bring the science to back up the science. Whether it was about the Jabba Dabba Doo, whether it was about spirituality and metaphysics and how it links to religions and how it links to my particular religion that I choose to live my life within this level of existence. It annoys me that you still attack with hurtful things. Like, who are you? First off, we're taught as Muslims to not judge the next Muslim, especially for what they believe in. If they have a faith in Allah, we are not the ones who judge their heart and their mind. That's Allah. We judge people's actions. But we don't judge by the heart and the mind, especially when someone expresses those. So I'm letting you know now. I'm going to read this again. Verse 12. Isra. It's showing you the signs. Literally everything that I was saying before I even read this. What was the example that I gave? When I opened this Quran, how was it that I turned into this exact page? I didn't have it marked. When I opened this Quran, this bookmark, you saw me moving it. This bookmark, you saw me move it, meaning it was not on this chapter. I can show you the chapter we're in. It was not on this chapter. You saw me moving this bookmark. Well, not much, but you can see. Meaning it was on a separate chapter. Look at that. The answers are literally coming. I don't believe in coincidences with my Lord. And we have made the night and the day, such as they became two signs, in a way that we obliterated the sign of the night, darkness of ignorance and disbelief. And we displayed the sign of the day as sight, giving that you may seek the bounty of your Lord, which is what? And that you may learn from the alternation of the night and day, the computation of years, and the science of all the sorts of counting and measuring. We have clearly explained everything in all knowledge and faith in detail. The details. So if there are details to be learned and that were clearly explained, how can you sit here and say, especially if it was of the unseen, right? That we were giving the signs. How can you sit here and say the unseen, anything in the unseen that you mention is shirk and you're a disbeliever? you need to seek help because you're mentally unstable. How can you tell that to another Muslim as a Muslim? Make this make sense to the point where you can prove that I'm wrong. And I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just coming with the evidence and the receipts of what I claim. But where are you? I don't see you. I don't see you. That's okay. May Allah reward me for what's in my heart. He knows my intentions. And on the day of judgment, may I receive what I deserve based on the actions and what I pursued in this life. However, whether I'm right or wrong, I'll be okay with that because I trust in my Lord and I trust that He will guide me down the right path, just like He says He will in the Quran. But if you come with the messed up perspective, that's on you. Again, and we have made the night and the day such as they became two signs in a way that we obliterated the sign of the night, darkness, and of ignorance and disbelief. And we displayed the sign of the day as sight, giving that you may seek the bounty of your Lord. And that you may learn from the alteration of the night and the day, the computation of years, and the science of all sorts of counting and measuring. We have clearly explained everything and all knowledge of faith in detail. So who gonna get on here? Who got the nuts? Who got the balls to get on here and challenge what I said about the stars, the constellations, the sun and the moon, the night and the day? Who got the balls to come on here and say to my face, after I just read it? Now, if I'm reading the wrong translation, please let me know. Hop on. Please let me know. Correct me now. I want to be on the right path. Correct me. If I'm not, you say I'm not, correct me. Because y'all know who it is. It's the chosen one, it's the guided one, it's the guided one, it's the chosen one. It's the man with the pitcher of water. Stay tuned. One more time. I did say multiple times. And we have made the night and the day, such as they became, two signs, in a way that we obliterated the sign of the night, darkness of ignorance and disbelief, and we displayed the sign of the day as sight, giving you that, giving that you, keep reading it backwards, giving that you may seek the bounty of your Lord, and that you may learn from the alternation of the night and day, the computation. What is that? Computation. What is that? Computation of years. When you compute something, what is that? Mathematics, numbers. So, brother, you know who you are. The one we were having a conversation. You know who you are, Muslim. You're talking about numerology. How is shirk? No, how people use it is shirk. It's still Allah's creation. The computation of years and the science of the computation of years. What do you call that? What do you call that? All sorts of counting and measuring. We have clearly explained everything in all knowledge of faith. Knowledge of faith. So you Christians and you Muslims that think you're supposed to have faith without any knowledge behind it, just have faith because that's what you're just supposed to do. No, the knowledge of the faith. Knowledge of the faith. In detail. And every human being we have made his deeds cling to his neck. And on the day of resurrection we shall bring out for him a book according all his deeds, which he will find wide open. It will be said to him, read your book. Sufficient is your own conscience this day as a reckoner against you. He who follows the right way follows it to his own good, and he who goes astray, surely he goes astray to his own loss. And no soul that bears the burden shall bear the burden of another. And we never punish unless we have sent a messenger. And when we intend to destroy a township, we first address our command to its lawless people who lead lazy lives to show obedience. But they revolt therein, so that it stands condemned, and we destroy it with an utter destruction. Which, if the universal laws, if the way things are made to be, right, if there's an instruction manual for the way things are made to be, let's say the scripture is an instruction manual, and the earth is the machine. If you put human beings on the earth and they don't follow the instruction manual, what should happen to them? What do you think is going to happen to them? Automatically, I don't even, let's say you were the creator of that machine and you gave them the book, right? You wouldn't even have to do anything or touch them. Based on the parameters of how the machine works, if the human beings didn't go by the book to operate the machine, of course the machine is going to break down on them and they're going to suffer. And that's what's being said. You're going to suffer because you chose it, because you're not following the natural way of doing things. You're not following the signs. And trust me, sometimes it's not our fault. Sometimes the shaitan has done a good job of creating entire civilizations of where we have been given fractions of degraded knowledge. Listen to that sentence. Fractions of degraded knowledge. That is a deep sentence. Fractions of degraded knowledge. Listen to that sentence. Fractions of degraded knowledge. That's why it's so important that you must seek knowledge. You must always seek guidance. Instead of just being a surface level ass Muslim. It's your responsibility, dummy. In accordance with this rule of ours, we have destroyed many a generation after Noah. And your Lord suffices as one who is aware and beholder of the sins of his servants. For him who desires the present transitory life. For him who desires the present life, we shall hasten an immediate reward for him in this very life, giving what we will to whom we will. But we have prepared Jahannam for him. He shall enter it, condemned and rejected. So if you find yourself in a life where you're living and you're just getting everything you want here, your desires are fulfilled, more than likely your consciousness is at a low level. That means you have nothing to live for on the other side. That means you were destined for this. You were destined for this mundane, materialistic existence. Bismillah. Give me a second. I gotta plug this charger in, my loves. lovely people. Where they at though? Y'all see this? Ain't nowhere to be found. Ain't nowhere to be found. Because they assume somebody is stupid. Because I'm not some, by the enemy's standards, I'm not some PhD. This is where these dumbass Muslims get confused. They all come here thinking I need a PhD to even be taken seriously. So you need to learn based on the enemy's standards to be taken seriously as a Muslim? You want to teach eschatology as a Muslim, spirituality as a Muslim, but you need to have a knowledge based on the enemy's standards? You're a dumbass. You're a dumbass. You don't know true logic. You don't know true intelligence. You're an idiot. As for those who choose the hereafter, myself, I'm going to use myself as an example. I choose the hereafter. Now, whether or not Allah is guiding me there, that's what I'm going to take up between me and my Lord. But you Muslims, you have no room to judge. You have no room to tell another Muslim who you would call brother or sister that they're going to Jahannam or they're going to Jannah. It's not your choice. I choose the hereafter. As for those who choose the hereafter and strive for it, the striving that it is due, the striving that it is its due in our believers, it is these whose striving shall find favor with their Lord. Are you striving for the hereafter? By seeking guidance? Or are you too busy telling people no? Listen to the ideologies of others. Stay stagnant. Stay doing just these things. And that's enough. Or are you striving for something? Are you lifting people up? Discovering new ways to help people perceive better? Raise consciousness. Raise spirituality. No, you don't want that. You don't want that. That's shirk to you. What's up? Where are you? Where are you? Come up. Come in this live, man. I don't see y'all. I don't see y'all. Yes, I'm using Islam to show you guys what real truth is. But you can use any religion. It's all twisted, but you can use any religion. To all of them, these who hanker after this world, as well as those whose choice is the life to come, we render aid, and this is out of the bounty of your Lord. The bounty of your Lord is not confined to any one section of the people. Maybe you didn't hear that. Maybe you didn't hear that. To all of them, these who hanker after this world, as well as those whose choice is the life to come, we render aid. Meaning, that's why Allah is called the Merciful. Even to the people who don't care about what He promises them, what He favors for them. People who chase this world, the materialistic crap that Shaitan is tricking you with. He still gives you aid. That's the mercy. And this is out of the bounty of your Lord. The bounty of your Lord is not confined to any one section of the people. Behold, how we have exalted some of them over others in the present life. Yet the hereafter holds our greatest degree of rank and confers greater merits and excellence. Do not set up another God with Allah, lest you remain debased and forsaken. Debased and forsaken. Your Lord has enjoined you to worship none but Him, and to be good to your parents. If either or both attain old age while living with you, never say to them, sorry, I just defy any word expressive of disgust or dislike, nor reproach them by your action. Rather, address them with kind and respectful words always. And lower to them the wings of submissiveness out of tenderness, treating them with humility and compassion, and say, praying for them, my Lord, have mercy upon them, just as they nourished and brought me up as a child. So some good tenets to practice between parent and child. Your Lord knows very well what is in your minds. If he will find that you are righteous, surely he is a great protector of those who turn to him for forgiveness again and again. And give to the near of kin and the needy and the wayfarer their dues, and do not squander your wealth wastefully. Certainly the squanderers are like Satan's, and Satan is always ungrateful to his Lord. If you have to turn away from them, seeking the mercy from your Lord that you hope for, even then speak to them a kind word, and do not keep your hands shackled to your neck out of miserliness, nor stretch it out to an entire stretching extravagantly, lest you sit down reproached, incurring blame, and exhausted on becoming penniless. Surely your Lord multiplies his provisions and means of livelihood for such of his people as he will, and he measures out justly. For he is well aware and seeing of the true needs of his people inside out. Basically, don't be a dickhead with money. Pay people their dues. There is no man or woman that should be living less fortunate than you. There should be no man or woman that should be living higher than you. And if you are in a position because God gave it to you, Allah gave it to you, and you should be making sure you have a responsibility if that's your position. You should be making sure. And unless it's just really out of your fault because of the way that things were set up, you spent your money a certain way, and it just so happens you just don't have it for the other people, guess what? It's okay, because Allah has given you what he has given you for what he has given you. And if you'd like, you can add on to that. I'm not saying that's the end all be all. Don't be a fucking one of those, you know what I'm saying? Don't be one of those people. Oh, he didn't say this, so he's wrong about his whole. No, add to it. There's nothing wrong with what I said. It was a summary. Do not kill your children for fear of want. My body, my choice. I know a lot of Muslim women who support abortion. And do not kill your children for fear of want. It's okay, because I'm not going to bring a child into this world that I can't take care of. I know a lot of women who have said that to justify abortion. It's wrong. If you can't take care of it, that's wrong. I remember reading this verse a long time ago. I actually had to use it to justify it to somebody else. Why it was wrong to kill kids, because of what your desires are. I won't be able to take care of it, but I mean, listen to the next sentence. And do not kill your children for fear of want. It is we who provide for them as well as for you. Indeed, the killing of them is a great sin. And keep away from adultery and fornication. Surely it is an abominable act, an extremely evil practice. And do not kill anyone, the sanctity of which Allah has upheld and has forbidden you to slay, except for a just cause. And we have given, of course, to the heir of the person who is killed unjustly the right to demand retribution or to forgive. But let him not exceed the prescribed limits in killing the murderer, because he is indeed helped and protected by law. And go not near to utilize the property of an orphan. Oh, nigga. A lot of that has been happening it's been happening for millennia. They've been taking stuff from people that's not theirs and entire lineages and descendants just not receiving their due diligence, what they're owed. And for the Muslims, there's a lot of you motherfuckers who've been doing that shit. So you really think it's gonna be some Muslims that's it's a lot of motherfuckers doing that, man. You really y'all Muslims really think that you're gonna be a part of that? I'm just saying. And go not near to utilize the property of an orphan, except in the fairest manner and intention. Meaning that if you're gonna be power of attorney, or if you're gonna be what does the law here use? What do they say? Like if you're gonna do something in lieu of a minor, right? Do it in the fairest manner and intention, in favor of the orphan, until he is of his age, or until he attains his age of full strength, when the property is to be returned to him, and fulfill your agreements, for every agreement is certainly questioned about and has to be accounted for. And give full measure when you measure out, and weigh with the right and even balance. That is best and most commendable in the long run. And do not follow and utter that of which you have no knowledge. Surely the ear and eye and heart of all these shall be called upon to account for it. If you don't have the knowledge, don't speak on it. Do not follow it. Do not utter it. And do not walk around haughtily in the land, for you cannot thus rend the earth asunder, nor can you match the mountains in height. All these doings are such that the evil in them is simply hateful in the sight of your Lord. These teachings are a part of the wisdom which your Lord has revealed to you, and the basis of all these acts of righteousness is that you set up no God beside Allah, lest you be cast into Jahannam, condemned, rejected. Disbelievers, has your Lord favored you with sons and chosen for himself daughters from among the angels? Surely most grievous is the blasphemy you utter. And the way I interpret this is spiritually. A lot of people that are into deep metaphysics, they think that the black woman is God because of the metaphysics behind what created the black woman. Not true. They're taking that's a demiurge satanic thing if you think the black woman is God based on her mitochondrial DNA. Here's why. The black woman being God is not true, because the black woman is the universe in which God creates. That's why you find God in his creation. That's why you'll never understand God. Where he comes from, you will never understand. You will never understand that at this level of existence. That's why it's contingent upon you to get to the higher levels of existence, to get back to source, to get back to Allah. The only person who has ever done that, who has ever seen up that high, was one of two people. The Prophet ﷺ, he saw, when he said he went to the highest level of Jannah and he saw Allah, it was a veil of light. Couldn't see past that. And certainly in this Quran, we have explained for the people of truth. Sorry, read that wrong. And certainly in this Quran, we have explained for the people the truth in a variety of forms, that they may take heed and become great. The truth comes in a variety of forms. It comes in different ways. So all you over here talking that there's only one way to describe something, one way to see something, one way to look at something, how do you know this isn't a new madhab? It's not, in a sense that it's not being practiced, but it is. a meth head. There's no other way to look at these things but through metaphysics. How else are you going to explain where Jesus is coming from when he descends again? How do people descend? How do beings that are other dimensionally, otherworldly, other heavenly aspects descend to a third dimensional space, becoming human and flesh and all these other things? But their condition is such that it increases them only in aversion. Say, had there been other gods as they allege beside him, the one God, in that case these polytheists would have certainly sought out by their help a way to the Lord of the mighty throne. Glory be to him, and far high indeed be he exalted above the things these polytheists say. The seven heavens, the earth is separate from the seven heavens, and all those inhabiting them extol his glory. In fact, there is not even a single thing but glorifies him with his true and perfect praise. But you do not understand their glorification. Verily, most forbearing is he, great protector. The seven heavens, the earth, and all those inhabiting them. But when someone tells you there are other beings on other worlds, and those other worlds are just simply other planets on higher dimensions, higher frequencies, because we don't know them, we don't see them. You motherfuckers believe in jinn, but if I tell you, hey, this is how jinn work, this is the magic, oh, we don't believe magic, that's shirk. But what else would you call it? If there is a being on another dimension that operates off of different parameters of physics than you, come on now, man. I can't deal with surface-minded motherfuckers. I can't, because it's wild that you're speaking to someone who has the evidence, and then somebody else comes who doesn't have the evidence, and then they're the ones calling you crazy, stupid, whatever the case is. This example, right? Crazy, stupid, and a conspiracy theorist. They want to, just incite like terrible things about you and the ideologies you hold. When all you're doing is giving them a perspective on the truth that they've never held before, which is, hey, wake up, there's other ways of perceiving the truth. By using your own discernment and coming up with your own ideologies to understand. Not to force onto others, but to understand. And when you recite the Quran, we place between you and those who do not believe in the hereafter an impregnable screen. Ha 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 ha! You don't believe in the hereafter because you keep telling people, you keep contradicting yourself about believing in the unseen, believing in the hereafter, but you don't want to study anything that pertains to it. That's the modern Muslim. Oh, you're committing shirk. You're a conspiracy theorist. You don't know anything. I'm gonna go follow a bunch of different men who created a hadith, and there's a hadith about that, and there's a hadith about that hadith, and then there's a hadith about that hadith. Come on now. And when you recite the Quran, we place between you and those who do not believe in the hereafter an impregnable screen. Didn't I just said that? How many times in my explanation do I have to say it? I'm gonna say it again. You don't believe in the hereafter because you constantly tell people all the time not to study it. You don't believe in the unseen because you constantly tell people not to study it. You don't believe in that. Because if you really did believe that there's some man that's going to fall in the sky, you think that shit's going to happen third dimensionally? You think a physical human being made out of flesh, bones, muscle, tendons and shit, you think that motherfucker going to come from another dimension? Or does he have to come down here through the actual metaphysics of how Allah created these worlds and this creation? The parameters in which Allah created these creations, that's how he's going to come down. Now, if you want to sit down and have a 6-hour conversation about how that might take place, let's do it. Because a motherfucker like me can. But that's the screen between people like you and people like me. And we cover their hearts with veils and plug their ears with something heavy, lest they should understand it. And when you mention the name of your Lord, who is the only one in the Quran, they turn their backs on it in aversion. You always turn your back. I say, bring the facts. I got source. We can talk about it. Oh, no, you're not even here. You turned your back. There's nobody here. There is nobody here. Because you think you're right. I have called upon you to answer, and you have turned your back. Now, you could be busy. You could be, doing other things. But what I mean is you don't give the time of day. You'd rather chastise, leave it alone, and actually come here on this platform and be like, hey, what's up? We doing this. We going to create true knowledge, whether you're right, whether I'm right, whether you're wrong, whether I'm wrong. We're going to sit here and create a foundation for people to come and actually learn about these things so that we can get to higher knowledge. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. I'll read it again. And we cover their hearts with veils and plug their ears with something heavy, lest they should understand it. And when you mention the name of your Lord, who is the only one in the Quran, they turn their backs on it in aversion. We know very well the purpose of their listening when they listen to you, and the purpose with which they confer, when they confer in private, and when the unjust say, you follow none but a man who is defrauded and deprived of reason. Behold, how they coin similitudes to depict you, as a result of which they have gone astray. So they will not be able to find a way for their salvation. Let's read that again for those of you who didn't really understand. We know very well the purpose of their listening when they listen to you, and the purpose with which they confer, when they confer in private, and when the unjust say, you follow none but a man who is defrauded and deprived of reason. Behold, how they coin similitudes to depict you, as a result of which they have gone astray. So they will not be able to find a way of their salvation. And they say, what? When we are reduced to bones, and that to broken particles of dust, shall we then be really raised again to a new life? It's a question. I'll read that again in a question form because it's a question. What? When we are reduced to bones, and that to broken particles of dust, shall we then really be raised again to a new life? When I'm telling you this world is an illusion, when you pass on from this world, you're going to be in another dimension. Or you might be reincarnated to this motherfucker. What does Allah say about that? Say yes, even if you be reduced to stones or iron. Here are they again. Or some other creation yet more hard that you can possibly conceive in your mind. or some other creation yet more hard that you can possibly conceive in your mind. Even then you shall be raised to a new life. Do I even need to explain it? Do I? Thereupon they will say, who will restore us to life? Say, the same who originated you the first time. At this, then, they will shake their heads at you, expressing wonder and disbelief in being raised, and will say, when will it come to pass? Say, maybe it is near. This promise will be fulfilled on the day when he will call you forth. Then you will respond to him, saying his praises, and you will think that you have tarried in the world for only a little while. So when people are asking, oh yeah, so if this is true, when is all this going to really happen? Well, when it's your time, when you're called forth, and you'll be in another world thinking like, oh shoot, did I really? Oh, I was on Earth. I did 80 years down there. What? Oh damn. Shit felt like a day. It felt like a day, goddamn. Shoot. And say to my servants that they should speak only what is gracious. For Satan is keen to provoke discord among them. Satan is indeed an enemy to the people, disuniting one another. Your Lord knows you best. He will have mercy on you if he will, or he will punish you if he will. And we have not sent you to be a disposer of their affairs, authorizing you to punish them or reward them. And your Lord knows best those that are in the heavens and on the earth. And most surely we have exalted some of the prophets above others. And it is we who gave David the Zabur, the Psalms. Say, call upon those whom you assert to be gods apart from him. Then you will realize they have no power to rid you of affliction nor to avert it, or transfer it to others. Those whom they call upon apart from him, thinking them to be means of gaining nearness to God, themselves seek nearness to their Lord and solicit his favor. Even those of them who are nearest to God are still competing to be closer to him and hope for his mercy and fear his punishment. As a matter of fact, the punishment of your Lord is a thing to beware of. And there is no township but there is no township but we shall destroy it, or we shall subject it to a severe chastisement before the day of resurrection. That is written down in the book, in the knowledge of God. And nothing could prevent us from going on sending our signs, though the former people cried lies up to them. And we gave them Thamud, the she-camel. And we gave to Thamud the she-camel as an enlightenment and an eye-opener, but they dealt with her unjustly. Still, they remained indifferent. We made the vision which we showed you, being carried to Jerusalem from Mecca by night, and also the tree, which is spiritually, there's a tree, the universal tree that the Prophet saw, and that's what he saw on the other side. There's actually studies to show you what this tree is. It's deep stuff, man. Evil word, see 1426. 1 second. Ibrahim. And this is 1426. And the likeness of an evil word is an evil tree, which can be uprooted from above the earth. It has no stability. Hold on. We made the vision vision, the vision, the vision, the vision, which we showed you being carried to Jerusalem from Mecca by night. What do you call a vision at night being carried to another country, to another mosque, ascending to heaven? Astral projection. Being carried to Jerusalem from Mecca by night, and also the tree, disapproved of in the Quran, and disapproved of in the Quran, a means of distinction between the good and the bad for the people. So when Satan comes in the Bible telling you, oh, don't eat of the tree of good and evil, don't eat the fruit, because that was Satan who wrote that, who convinced people to write that. Because the truth, right here in the Quran, telling you that Allah made that tree a distinction for the people between good and evil. We just read that. I'm still in the Quran, guys. When you have someone who studied metaphysics and is telling you the story of Adam and Eve is the atom. Eve was made from the rib, the ribonucleic acid. Atoms turn into molecules, which molecules turn into DNA. Eve was made from the what? The rib of Adam. The atom. Once it turns into a molecule, it turns into the DNA. The DNA turns into, Let's read it again. We made the vision, which the vision, which we showed you, being carried to Jerusalem from Mecca by night, through vision. What do you call that? Astral projection. And also the tree, disapproved of in the Quran, a means of distinction between the good and the bad for the people. It was disapproved of. The tree of knowledge. So you have somebody coming along, learning of the tree. It's such a deep concept. It's such a deep science. You need to go learn about the tree. You can actually learn about it in Kabbalah. Go study. Despite the fact that we have been warning them by sending our signs, this warning from us only leads them into unrestrained inordinacy. And recall the time, look at that, just mentioned him. And recall the time when we said to the angels, submit to Adam. Then they all submitted but Iblis, who too was told to do the same, did not. He said, shall I submit to one whom you've created out of clay? And he added, what do you think? This is he whom you have honored and placed above me. You're above that motherfucker. You just have to learn it. Study him. Because you are above him. He even claimed it himself. If you grant me respite till the day of resurrection, I will most certainly bring his progeny under my sway. Having overpowered them, I shall destroy them for sure, except a few. Be gone, he said, or said he. As for those of them who follow you, Gehenna is the recompense of you all, an ample recompense. And beguile whomsoever of them you can with your speech, and rally your horsemen against them, and your footmen fast riders and slow walkers in disobedience with all your might, and share with him their wealth and children, and hold out promises to them what you like. Indeed, Satan promises them nothing but mere fraud. As to my true servants, you shall have certainly no authority over them. And sufficient is your Lord as a disposer of affairs. His true believers. Allah gave Shaitan respite. This is his world. If you seek things within his world, within his explanation of this world, I've been saying this for a long ass time. Satan's biggest trick is making you think he's God. And when you're sitting here practicing the religions of the world, you are following Satan's religions. Today's religions, the current state of today's religions, I'm not saying the scriptures. I'm a Muslim in terms of what I believe the Quran to be, what the scriptures to be, before corruption. I'm not saying the Quran is corrupt. What I'm saying is the perception in which people approach these things is corrupt. Because remember, you cannot create a lie unless you take some portion of the truth and twist it. It's the only way a lie is created. It's up to us to filter through that bullshit and find the twisted shit and untwist it so that we can see the right path. You are in Shaitan's world. He gave him respite until the day of resurrection. Has the day of resurrection happened? No. So guess what? It's still Shaitan's world. He is the God of this world. Now Allah has sovereignty over everything because He allows Shaitan to rule it. So don't go there with me. He allows Shaitan to have this world in terms of, where are we? The earthlings, the people of Adam, the children of Adam, that's us. Where are we? He's ruling over us. He says, should I say it again? If you grant me respite to the day of resurrection, I will most certainly bring his progeny under my sway. Having overpowered them, I shall destroy them for sure, except a few. Be gone. As for those of them who do follow you, Jahannam is their recompense. Beguile whomsoever of them you can with your speech, rally your horsemen against them, and your footmen. This is Allah talking. He says, go ahead, do what you gotta do to get them. My true followers, you won't be able to get the true followers. I've said this, I've quoted this before. Do you then feel secure that He will not humiliate you in the sight of the land and make you sink in the earth on the side of the shore, or send against you a violent squall of pebbles? For if He does, you shall find none responsible to protect and help you. Or do you feel secure and have made sure that He will not send you back into the sea the second time? And then send against you a fierce storm, blast, and drown you because of your ingratitude? For if He does, you will find no helper in the matter for yourselves to protect you against us. And most surely we have made the children of Adam greatly honored, and have carried them over land and sea, and we have provided them with good and pure things, and have distinctly exalted them far above most of our creation. That's beautiful. It's beautiful. Now you know your worth. Beware of the day when we shall call all people along with their leaders. Now whoever is given this book, his book, recording of his deeds, in his right hand, such will read their book eagerly, and they will not be dealt with unjustly in the least. But whoever remains spiritually blind you see these eyes. You see my face. You see this look. Did I not just say that? Is that not what I say in every one of my videos? Wake the fuck up. Spirituality. Metaphysics. I don't know what to say, man. I don't know what to say, man. I don't know what to say. But whoever remains spiritually blind in this world shall also be blind in the hereafter. Rather, he will be even farther removed from the right path. He didn't say religiously blind. He didn't say physically blind. Spiritually. And they had spared nothing in causing you the severest affliction with the purpose to turn you away from the revelations given to you, that you might forge in our name something different from that which we have revealed to you. In that case, they would surely have taken you for a special friend. And if we had not made you firm and steadfast, you might have inclined towards them a little. In that case, if you had been one to forge a lie against us, we would have made you taste multiple sufferings in this life and multiple sufferings in death. And then you would have found yourself no helper against us, but you remained steadfast. They had spared nothing in unsettling you from the land of Mecca, with the result that they drive you out from it. But in that case, they themselves would have stayed after you, except for a little while. Such has been our practice with those of our messengers whom we sent before you, and you will find no change in our practice. So that's how the test of the prophets is. Observe prayer at the declining and paling of the sun onto the complete darkness in diverse hours of the night, and recite the Quran at dawn. Verily, the regular recital of the Quran at dawn is specially acceptable to God and witnessed by the angels. And remain awake for the recitation of the Quran and prayer for a part of the night after having risen from sleep as a supererogatory service for you. Thus it may be that your Lord will raise you to a laudable, exalted position. And say in prayer, my Lord, grant that when I enter wherever you take me while migrating, I enter with truth in every way. And when I depart with truth, and grant me your grace authoritative help. And grant me by your grace authoritative help, which should sustain me in my activities. And say, truth has come and falsehood has vanished away. Falsehood is indeed ever bound to vanish away. And we are gradually revealing of the Quran, that teaching, which is the cause of healing and mercy for the believers. But this revelation only leads the unjust persons from loss to loss. And when we bestow favors on the human being, he turns away and withdraws himself aside. But when evil overtakes him, he is given to despair. Say, everyone acts after his own way and fashion, and your Lord knows very well who is best guided in the right path. And that's not what you guys are saying. You guys are saying, follow this way. No. Follow that way. I'm going to read that again. Everyone acts after his own way and fashion, and your Lord knows very well who is the best guide in the right path. And they question you about the revelations and the human soul. Say, let's pay attention. And they question you about the revelation and the human soul. Say, the revelation and the soul is by the command of my Lord, because little is the knowledge thereof that you have been given. Had we so willed, we could surely take away that which we have revealed to you. If we did so, you could find none to plead your cause to restore it to you against our will. But it is the special mercy from your Lord that he will not do so. His grace and favor upon you is very great, in fact. Say, if there should join together all human beings and the jinn to produce the like of this Quran, they would never be able to produce anything like it, even though some of them might be the helpers of others. And in this Quran, we have explained in various ways and forms all kinds of rare things of exquisite beauty to humankind, but most people choose to reject everything except following the way of disbelief. I read that again. And in this Quran, we have explained various ways and forms of all kinds of rare things of exquisite beauty to humankind, but most people choose to reject everything except following the way of disbelief. I just had to let that sink in. And they say, we will never believe unless you cause a spring to gush forth for us from the earth. That's what I said. That's what I told the dude the other day. I was like, yeah, I've embodied Christ consciousness. It's other people can do it also. And there are people down here that it's all about who embodies it the most. And I was telling him that, and I was explaining kind of that like a concept to him. He just didn't get it, right? And he said something to me. He's like, okay, go walk on water. I was like, well, Jesus ain't coming back to walk on water. To show people he can walk on water. Oh, well, turn this water to wine. He said these things to me. I'm like, Jesus isn't coming back to turn water to wine. You won't read that anywhere. That's not his cause for coming back. He's not coming back to prove the things that he did previously. Or there be a garden of date palms and vines for you, and you cause the streams to gush forth abundantly in its midst. Or you, as you assert and claim that it shall happen, cause the heaven to fall down upon us in fragments. And bring Allah and the angels face to face with us. Or there be a house made of gold for you, and you ascend into heaven, but we will not believe in your ascending till you bring down to us a book that we can read. Say, glory be to my Lord. I am not but a human being, sent as a messenger. So these people, now for the Muslim who's following and maybe listening to this, obviously this is an excerpt from historically when these things were being said to the Prophet. I get that. But you have to listen also to what's being said, because these things are still happening today. These are what people are saying. This is what people are saying. Because listen, he's saying basically, even if the human beings and the jinn kind came together to produce something like the Quran, they couldn't. They're using this Quran. They've explained so many things that's so beautiful, so deep, right? But people still choose to reject it. They reject it all. And then it says, and they say, these type of people, this is what they say: we will never believe you unless you spring to gush forth for us from the earth. You cause a spring to gush forth for us from the earth. Like, basically saying that these people will always say some weird ass many shit like, oh, so if you're this, then you can do this. You can fly. I want to see you float right now. Do that. Float. Do this. Turn this rock into some pure gold or something. Shoot, teleport. Go between this wall. You know, you're all high and mighty, and that's what we tell people. We tell niggas, look, nobody was ever sent to do crazy shit like that, unless it was told of otherwise. So even the Prophet ﷺ, he tells Allah tells the Prophet to say this. He says, "Say, glory be to my Lord, Subhanahu Rabbil. I am not but a human being sent as a messenger. And nothing has prevented the people from believing when the guidance came to them except their sayings. Has Allah raised a human being like us as a messenger?" That's exactly what these people say. Is that even possible? That's not possible. Can you even do that? Now that's assuming they believe in God, right? Can you even do that? No, there's no way it could be you. Say, had there been angels on the earth in place of human beings walking about secure and sound, we too would have invariably sent down an angel from heaven as a messenger to them. So he's sending his own kind. Why not? He gave us an example. So if there were angels on the earth walking around, he would have sent the angel to send as a messenger to him. Say, Allah. Sorry guys, 1 second. Say, Allah suffices as a witness between me and you. Surely he is ever aware of and sees his servants full well. He whom Allah guides to the straight and right path is the only one rightly guided. But those whom he abandons to perish, you will find no protecting friends for them apart from him. And we shall gather them on the day of resurrection, dragging them on their faces. They shall be blind, dumb, and deaf. Gehenna is their resort. As often as it the flames of hellfire abate, we shall add fuel to the blaze for them. Such shall be their recompense, because they rejected our commandments and said, shall we really be raised up as a new creation when after our death we are reduced to mere bones and broken particles dust? Have they not seen that Allah who created the heavens and the earth has the power to create their like? And he has appointed for them a term, no doubt about it. Yet the unjust will reject everything except following in the way of disbelief. Say, even if you possessed all the treasures of the mercy and blessings of my Lord, yet you would hold them back for fear. Even if you possessed all the treasures of the mercy and blessings of my Lord, yet you would hold them back for fear of depleting. For a human being is very niggardly indeed. And most certainly we gave Moses 9 clear signs. So ask the children of Israel about it. When he, Moses, came to them, Pharaoh said to him, Moses, I think you to be under a spell and a victim of deception. Even Pharaoh, ruler, or I would say usurper of Egypt, because the true pharaohs, not that Pharaoh, the Pharaoh that they mentioned in the Quran is not the pharaohs that were ruling the children of Israel. Because the children of Israel were people of God. Before those pharaohs came in, usurped them and enslaved them in their own lands. Historically. Even the Pharaoh, though, told Moses when he was coming, and people just like didn't believe him, right? Isn't that one of the things of a messenger, of a prophet, is that people come, the motherfuckers saying something, and people just don't believe him? Moses was a conspiracy theorist of his day. all the prophets were the conspiracy theorists of his day until they built a following, and these people actually started seeing the miracles of the signs. But even this motherfucker told this dude, Moses, I think you to be under a spell and a victim of deception. So my brother, who was speaking with me the other night and blocked me, I ain't gonna say your name or who you are. Your privacy is what's safe with me, because you're my brother. You're a Muslim, and I love you for the sake of Allah. But I'm gonna call your ass out, because you know who you are. Didn't you say the same shit to me last night? Didn't you say that? He said, Moses, you know fully well that none other but the Lord of the heavens and earth has revealed these signs as means of enlightenment. Don't most of the woke community, conscious community, spiritual, metaphysical community use that word enlightenment? And I've been sitting here telling you, hey, enlightenment. You need to be enlightened. And these are all from the Lord. Have I been saying that? Have I not been saying that? I'm talking to you, Muslims. Surely I believe you, O Pharaoh, to be doomed to perish. So he resolved to weaken them by humiliating them in and thus scare them out of the country. But we drowned him and those with him, one and all. And we said after it was all over with Pharaoh to the children of Israel, settle down, occupying the promised land of Palestine. When the time of fulfillment of the second prophecy comes, we shall bring you back, gathering you from various lands. It just baffles me that y'all are like the sheer just like will to disagree because you don't think there's some ruling authority that's gonna tell you what's right or wrong. It's crazy to me that you can look at your Muslim brothers and sisters and not sit there and say, you know what, my brother is doing some research, analyzing the Quran to seek the true guidance. Let's see if he's actually seeking guidance. Let's see if he's on the path. No, instead you say, you know what, some other nigga that I never met down the road, historical nigga, he figured that shit out. Why should I even look at you? Why should we even have discussion? That nigga figured it out a long time ago. Let's look at what he said. Not saying none of those may or may not be valid. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, what's the logic of doing that when we have our own minds? We are responsible for our own judgment, our own discernment, to get ourselves to the day of judgment and be successful on that day. What's the point? We revealed it, the Quran, to suit the requirement of truth and wisdom, and it has come down to you with truth and wisdom, Prophet. We have sent you, on one hand, as a bearer of good tidings, and as a warner on the other. We have divided this Quran into distinct chapters, and have revealed it in stages, that you may recite it to humankind at intervals, and that is why we have revealed it piece by piece and in stages. Say, you may believe in it, the Quran, or you may not believe. Those who have been given the spiritual knowledge before it, its revelation, fall down on their faces, prostrating submissively before their Lord when it is recited to them. And they say, "Glory be to our Lord." The promise of our Lord is really bound to be fulfilled. They fall on their faces weeping, and as they listen to the divine words, it adds to their humility. Say, call upon him by the name of Allah, or call upon him by the name of Al-Rahman, the most gracious. In short, call upon him by whichsoever name you like. All beautiful names belong to the one God. And utter not your prayer in a loud voice, nor utter it in too low tones, completely concealing it, but seek a middle course, and say, all true and perfect praise belongs to Allah, who has not taken to himself a son, and who has no associate partner in his kingdom, nor has he any helper because of any weakness. And extol his glory with repeated glorification. Extol. And yeah, there we go. So I don't know how many signs in that chapter that y'all picked up on, but clearly substantiated a lot of the things that I've been saying. In terms of the stars and the skies, in terms of knowledge and how to seek it. Literally, I haven't read that chapter in years. I've been a Muslim for this past July, it's been 4 years. And let's see how many verses that was. Yo, it doesn't stop, y'all. Look. Brothers and sisters. 111. That was the last verse. Verse 111. 111. I can't make this stuff up. I cannot make this up. Can't make it up, man. And right after that chapter, Surah Kahf, the cave. And right after that chapter, the Surah of Maryam. MashaAllah. Right after that, Taha. I said that wrong. Please forgive my Arabic. And right after that, Al-Anbiya. The prophets. Taha, that's a portal. What does Taha translate to? Perfect man, be at rest. That's what it says. But Taha is a portal. Because this chapter talks a lot about Moses. Makes me kind of want to read it. And we're going to do that. Stay tuned for part 2. It's the chosen one. It's the guided one. It's the guided one. It's the chosen one. I'm literally about to make another video. I just need a restroom break. It's the man with the pitcher of water. Peace and love to you guys. Be analytical. Be critiques of your own reality, and it'll save you. It'll save you. Peace and love. I gotta go use the John.